Central and Showtime. A founding member of the Axis of Evil comedy tour, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great guy. He was in our studio once, wasn't he, Joe?
When they first came through, I believe he was here.
They've been all over America and the Middle East, and his most recent Showtime special is called I Come in Peace, just released on DVD. Get all the info and the CD, DVD on our website, bobrivers.com, mazjobrani.com too, which we'll link to as well. Maz, welcome back to our show in Seattle, and congratulations. By the way, we're talking with Iran. We're sitting down, we're talking peace. Is that exciting?
I know, it's crazy, huh? Things are changing. Yeah, I've been following it all, and who would have thought the French were gonna throw the whole thing off?
Right. Do you, by the way, do you sit and root for, I mean, not getting off on a comedic start, but do you sit and root for us to work things out and suddenly become trading partners and everything to be cool? And do you think it's an actual possibility?
You know, I got mixed emotions about it all. Obviously, I would love for things to be resolved in a peaceful manner. I think that's the way to go. I'm not the biggest fan of the current regime over there, but I think that any changes that might happen would hopefully happen from within and not have to have a war. So, yeah, I think I'm rooting for you know, and I think one of the bigger things right now is with the sanctions, a lot of Iranians are actually suffering from the sanctions. And so it would be nice. It would be nice if people had a chance to kind of, you know, get their lives back on track. But we'll see. You know, it's a tricky. It's a chess game that, like I said again, the meetings they had in Geneva recently, the French proposed the some of the things that come to agree on. So who knows? It's a very complicated chess game.
It is more complicated than a cable news channel can possibly cram into a soundbite, right?
That is definitely true. I think, but then again, I wouldn't put it past them figuring out a soundbite.
Because I want to boil the whole thing down, Maz, into just some sort of graphic slogan that I can put up with some flames, preferably coming out of one side of it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they would say, you know, they're talking about an agreement on the nuclear issue, and I'm sure they would say Iran gets nukes. And then they would freak people out.
That's exactly how they're spinning it, yeah.
Now, you, as an Iranian guy, of course, being funny in America, you probably run into some people that are not entirely comfortable with that from time to time. Isn't that true?
You know, it's interesting. You know, the first special I did, it was called the Axis of Evil Comedy Tour. And it was me and 3 other Middle Eastern American comics. And we premiered on Comedy Central. And I always say it was the first time we had 4 Middle Easterners on an American television show, and none of us died. So,
that's so
that
charming.
Was progress.
Yeah,
but we did. We started getting emails from people. One of the things I saw was I actually went on. We were online to see what people were saying, and somehow we ended up on. I think it was the Sean Hannity chat room page. And one guy had written another guy said, "I never knew these people laughed," and I was like, "Oh my God, it's so true. You never see Middle Easterners laughing in American film or television." And so it was kind of an eye-opener for a lot of people, I think. And anyone who was criticizing, like there was people that were criticizing us who hadn't even seen it. So that was interesting to see people go, these people are this and that, and it's, you know, and not to be trusted. And then you would read on and realize the guy hasn't even seen the thing. So it's like, okay, well, you know, you just have your opinion, and you're going to just, you know, stay holed up the rest of your life.
Did I hear that your mom was upset that you always typecast playing a terrorist, and she wanted a different ending to the whole terrorism movie?
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of, as a Middle Eastern American, when you first start out, like the types of roles, when you go to audition, they'll be like, oh, you're Middle Eastern, great. Can you say, I will kill you in the name of Allah? And you're like, I could, but what if I played the doctor in this one? And they go, oh, cool, then you can hijack the hospital.
Oh, my God.
You're like, no. And so, yeah, I did a Chuck Norris movie of the week where I knew I was going to die. You know, there's never going to be Chuck and Hassan saving the world, you know. And then I did an episode of 24 where I died, and my mom would be like, why do you keep dying? And I was like, that's how they write it. Like, why don't you kill them one time?
I'm going to kill Jack Bauer this time. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if, like, before they yell action, I'm on Kiefer Sutherland's back trying to bring him down.
Yeah, I think I remember you on 24.
I was season 2. I was the guy. I called him the ambivalent terrorist. I was driving a truck and there were 2 other terrorists in it, and we had a bomb in the back. And halfway through the mission, I look out the window, and I see kids playing, and I have a change of heart. So I turn to the other guys. I'm like, hey, guys, do really they have to kill people? And they take out a gun, they shoot me.
Oh, God.
Well, what's wrong with you guys?
Well, at least your mom got to see you in a nice terrorist role.
Yeah, that was a nice terrorist role, exactly. So
Now,
that was progress.
And you still died.
Now, you're Iranian-American. Your wife is Indian-American. And yet
Yeah.
a lot of people probably can't tell the difference, right? But you and her do you have any culture clashes with your wife?
Well, the only culture clash we have is that our kids both ended up looking like her. And I told her, I said, there's a reason why there's 1 billion Indians in the world. You know, their genes are so dominant that anyone who sleeps with an Indian, your kids are going to come out Indian.
That's it.
So, you know, Iranian Indian is Indian. Black Indian, Indian. A friend of mine whose wife is even Indian, but she had Indian food one night, and the kids came out Indian. So,
Vindaloo.
And you have a very young child, right? You guys just had a baby?
yeah, I have a 5-year-old boy and a 2.5-year-old girl. So they're growing up nicely and keeping us nice and exhausted all the time. You know, anyone who has young kids, I don't know if you guys, any of you guys got young kids over there?
Yeah,
A couple
two
of us do, yeah.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. And my whole goal from the moment they wake up, my whole goal is to make them tired. So from the moment they wake up, I'm like, run, you know, climb, fly. You can fly, flap your wings, you know. And it's just exhausting, but it's exhilarating, and it's been an interesting experience with these kids, man.
This time of year in Seattle, when it's rainy and everything out, you go to a mall, and that's all it is people trying to wear their little kids out because the mall is the big place where they can run. You did your special in Stockholm, Maz. We were talking about Sweden earlier in the show. How did you choose Stockholm, Sweden, as the place to film?
I had done shows in Sweden before. This is what was interesting. When I first did the Action and Evil comedy tour, if you would have asked me where do you think you'd be performing a year from now outside the U.S., I would have said, you know, Australia, Canada, England, places that I knew spoke English. But what was interesting was like 6 months after we premiered, we got a call from some guys out of Jordan in the Middle East. And the guy goes, hey, so we'd like for you to come do your show in Jordan. And I was like, bro, I'd love to, but, the show's in English. And the guy's like, yeah, I know. I'm speaking English to you right now, you idiot. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then you realize that the rest of the world, there's a lot of places that they speak English. They get our comedy. They get our culture. I always say that it feels like the rest of the world knows a lot more about America than America knows about the rest of the world.
I think, wow, yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like Sweden, like I went out there, did the shows, and they were on it. There was a very international crowd. And there's a moment in the DVD, people can see it if they watch. It's like, I talk to the crowd a lot, the audience. And at one point, I was like, are there any Jews here? And this Jewish person clapped. And then I go, are there any Palestinians here? This Palestinian clapped. And they were seated next to each other. And, Sweden is the home of the Nobel Peace Prize. And I was like, guys, I know you guys are, peaceful, but you have them sitting next to each other. What the hell? And it was pretty cool, man. It was a cool moment in the special, and just my experience out there. It was a really cool place.
Maz Jobrani. Maz, let me ask you about a couple of Iranian stereotypes. All right. First off, kissing. We get this feeling that Middle Eastern people generally are not for public displays of affection, and yet Iranian people come up to each other and they kiss each other a lot. In fact, they kiss each other multiple times when they greet. What's the deal with that?
Well, the greeting is, a lot of places, I think in Europe and then also in the Middle East, you see, you do the cheek to cheek. And it gets very confusing because I've been to different countries, and every country seems to have a different number of kissing things. Like, this is where it gets confusing. So, I was in Lebanon where they do 3 kisses. You go, cheek to cheek, and the other side, and the other side.
Uh-huh.
Then I went to Egypt where they do 2, just 1, 2. So I'd gotten used to 3, so I went to say hi to this Egyptian guy, and I went 1, 2, and I went for 3, and he wasn't into it, He was like, whoa, get back. And I go, no, I was just in Lebanon. He goes, I don't care where you are. You stay where you are, please.
Yeah.
And that was that. And then in Saudi Arabia, they go 1, 2, and then they stay on the same side, and they just start going like 3, 4, 5, 6. You do like 10 on the same side. It looks like they're like doing. Remember the night at the Roxbury?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So every country's got different things. And Iranians, sometimes we do 2, sometimes we do 3. And I always say with Iranians, somebody explained to me, they go, before the revolution of 79, it was 2. And after the revolution, it became 3. So I said with Iranians, based on the number of kisses they give you, you could tell whose side they're on.
The party affiliation. Yes.
Exactly.
Do you go left, right, left, right, left? I mean, is it like driving in different countries? There's different sides of the face. Do you ever slam somebody?
Question. I don't even think of that. I do it instinctively. Let me see. I always go, I go left, right, left. You're right. It is. I go left, right, left. I suppose if you were in England, where they drive on the other side, you have to go right,
left, right. Yeah, otherwise you're banging nose.
And at Fox News, they go right. I just stay there.
Yay, nice.
They don't kiss Iranians on Fox News.
All right, now, another thing to ask about, and this is something you just said it. Now, Americans know almost nothing about the rest of the world. We're really sheltered. But because America is so big and rich and huge and the rest of the world works for us, why should we care? But the rest of the world does know a lot about America. When we travel, those of us who've had a chance to travel, the thing that always shocks us about the rest of the world is haggling. Having to, like going into a place, ask what a price is, and then if you pay it, you're ridiculously dumb because almost always the asking price is usually like double what they'll take for it, right? And we're not used to haggling.
Yes. Very true. And it's amazing because I grew up in America and I had because I think Middle Easterners have the haggling gene, but I think growing up in America, I lost that gene because, like when was the last time you went into a Starbucks? You know what I'm saying? And the guy's like, like, I'll have a frappuccino, and then the guy's like, that'll be $3. You go, I give you $1. So I lost that gene. I actually ended up in Morocco, and this guy was so good. He first of all, if they call you my friend, they're not your friend. You're about to get screwed. Okay,
that's a bad sign, my friend. Yeah,
my friend, please, my friend, come have tea. They give you tea. I ended up in a rug store when I was living at my mom's place just out of college. I had a little room. I didn't have anywhere to even put a rug. And this guy started giving me tea and called me my friend, and I was so at ease. He ended up selling me 3 rugs. I had nowhere to put them. I'm not kidding. I drove around Los Angeles for 6 months with 3 rugs in the trunk of my car. Every relative I would run into, I would try to sell it to them. I'd be like, my friend, you want to buy a rug? And nobody would buy the rugs from me, so I ended up just giving them away.
This year, a foreign film won the Oscar for foreign film. It was an Iranian film. How proud are the Iranian people of that?
I think a lot of Iranians were very proud and very excited about it. It was actually a great movie. It's called Separation, and I watched it, and even with subtitles, I speak Farsi, but my wife, an Indian, she watched it. We were just glued. It was a great movie, and this was not this past year, the year before, when it won. And it was just great to, a great achievement, just given the history of America and the U.S., America and Iran, it was great to have a film be acknowledged and really get what I thought, it got its dues. It really was a good film. And I was excited. A lot of Iranians around the world were excited. And it's good, man. Little by little, I think arts and sports can really bring us together, and I hope that it does.
Right. Maz, we really like you. Is Maz? Maz.
It's Maz, but, I'll go with Maz. It's Maz, like Mazda or Maserati or Mazatlan. It all works. Yeah,
you're really cool. I mean, Axis of Evil, and then we find out, you put out Brown and Friendly, and I Come in Peace, and all of that. I've developed this trust that I have for you.
Friend.
And by the way,
my next one should be called My Friend.
My friend. Oops, he's got a vest on. Yeah. So I Come in Peace is available now. We'll link to that. You have the movie that you funded on Indigo. Is that being made or is it done?
Just finished filming this past week. It's called Jimmy Westwood, American Hero. It's like the Persian Pink Panther.
It's got to be great.
And we want that to come out next year. And then I'll actually be in Seattle in March doing shows as well, so I'll be up in your guys' neck of the woods soon.
Maz, if you can, come visit us in studio when you're in Seattle.
Would love to, guys. Would love to.
Maz Jobrani. Links are all at BobRivers.com. All the best to you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.